are your cheeky predictions? Oh, he's going to be 5 minutes late, 6 minutes late. I think that's on time, isn't it? The opening credits is about 2 minutes 34. I think that makes me... I'm so tired. This not working, Lark. I could get into it. But not having, it's weird because I work 7 days a week. I remember when I said to you I'm taking Fridays off. Well, I didn't. That just didn't happen because it got to Friday and I got light working. And then the weekends I work, but I don't have people yapping me because they ain't working at the weekend. And the thing that is strange about it is not being needed. You can understand. I've sort of got a glimpse of what it must be like to be a mother, and I think I say mother rather than father because I think it is different when their kids leave home. And if the mother's been a housewife, if the mother has sort of made food and prepared school stuff and washed clothes. And then, back in my day, brothers and sisters, siblings were like 2-3 years apart. There was the odd anomaly where, do you remember that when you had a mate at school and someone come to pick him up and you went, your dad's quite young, isn't he? And they'd go, no, it's my brother. And we're like, what? There's like 16 years between them. But most siblings were 2 or 3 years apart. So, I left home at 16. I was gone. Let's go. And, suddenly parents, mothers especially, are a bit, which is probably why they're always on the blower. Which is a nice thing, of course, Tickets booked. Thailand is on. The Thai gin grift is on. Feel free to contribute in any way possible. Entropy up there. Super sharp down there. This is a call-in show. I'm not going to gibber for ages because Emma's in the chat and she keeps an eye on me, and I'm fully aware of it. So you've got a new prime minister. In what other country would that happen? It's incredible. What is it? Is this the Indian Raj? Oh, good Lord, liberalism, show thine ugly face. I hope you enjoyed my clip. Oh, did I already mention? Hang on, Catherine says, hello, Catherine. What a pleasure to see you. Been a while. Been a while since you've chatted. Maybe you've been lurking. My children think their dad is their granddad. There's so many routes to that outcome that I don't quite understand how, but, only because there's options, not because it doesn't make sense. But good. Vart. Did you hear that? Because when I made that clip, it was quite sweet actually. I made that clip about living passionately, and someone in the chat said they already clipped it and sent it to a friend, and I thought, that's good, because there is a bit of a vanity issue with Dangerfield's quick hits. If you don't know, I take little bits from videos, and if any of you ever watch an old video and you see like between 5 and 20 minutes, there's a bit of flexibility there, 30 minutes or 4 minutes, that you think would make a nice clip, let me know. I mean, there's no point emailing me at the moment. I ain't going near it. I've got my vacation responder on. That's been nice, I have to say. I do 200 emails a day before I start work. And that can take 2-3 hours. Yeah, that's been a real pleasure. But even as I say that, because I've routinely got, hello Josh, all right JP, hello Toffee, because I get I thought there was some issue there. Hello Andrew, good to see you, mate. Because that first couple of hours is usually taken up with emails, that's the weird time where I'm a little bit today. And I've learned that gym, lifting weights first thing isn't good. Let your body wake up, because if I lift weights first thing, it just doesn't work. My day doesn't work. I'm really lagging, at about 4 or 5 in the afternoon. I've been siestaing it up like a beagle. Oh, I'll put a film on. And then I wake up just to see the ending, so I can't watch it again anyway. Hello, Toomey. I'm looking at November, mate. I'm going to Thailand in 2 days, hopefully, to finish it. I mean, come on. Goethe spent, 60 years writing Faust? 60 years. Makes mine look like a fucking notebook. No, it's not Faust. I'm not suggesting I've written Faust, although there certainly is some sold to devils. Hello, Livy. Hello, Rags. Right, so I think I might just have one thing I want to just quickly show you, and then we'll open it up. But let me see if I'm wrong. Let me see if I've got this completely wrong. It is a good time to get on the call in, though, because I'm Sharsted. You can have your wicked way with my lack of what would the word be? There's an example of it. I've demonstrated it rather than explained it. I'm not too quick at the moment, but well, I've got this to show you. I've got something quick to show you. Happiness, more or less. Ooh, weird. I'll tell you what, though, very strange. The old holiday. Apparently, now I haven't got a flight for years. I used to travel quite a lot, but I haven't got any paperwork. Is that normal nowadays? By the looks of things, I've got it all on my phone. I get to the airport. I check in online at the airport, or I check in online, and then when I get to the airport, using my phone, I can get my tickets. I mean, anyone left Phnom Penh in the last year or so might be able to help me out. Hello, Keyman. Good to see you. Hello, Bert. Hello, Bertie. Hello, Baz. So, yeah, interesting. Let's see. I will stream from Thailand because it'll be a laugh. But if I stream Wednesday or Thursday from Phnom Penh, you know that I made a terrible mistake. didn't get it working at all. There is a chance as well. I have done that before. I've missed planes and all sorts. Lindsay Spiritualized drops a 10-bit. Nice one. Hello, dear Christopher. Here's a little something towards your trip to Thailand. There will be more donations to come throughout the stream. I fucking love you so much. Thank you for keeping me spiritualized. I love you and the Scrubs too. Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. I'll tell you what, people. Thank you, Lindsay. And Ayrton Senna is an absolute boon at the moment. And on the entropy, that's wonderful. Lindsay is like a proper fan. Like you know, I listen to the music all the time, but Lindsay will send me a little email. Have you seen this new interview? Have you heard about this new release? Do you know about this bloke who used to tune the guitars for the bloke who taught Jason Pierce how to play guitar? You know, blah, 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 blah. And very interesting stuff, and stuff that's keeps me on my spiritualized toes. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's how I ended up, you know, when I chatted to Mads Bajork, it was Lindsay who actually sort of explain the gravitas of Mads Bajork to me, and that's why I got him on. It was a great chat talking to Mads. Lindsay and everyone. Someone else produced. Yeah, let me play you a little bit of this song, people, and get the stream banned. Let me just play a little bit of this for you. So this is my sad song that I was going to play the other day, but I only ended up playing you a little bit. But I'll just play the introduction. Right? This is a classic spiritualized song. All spiritualized fans know it. This was released as a single. I mean, look how music has changed. This was 1991, and this was released as a single. So this is my favorite band. We're not doing favorite bands. We're going to do favorite movie scenes next week. So start thinking and see if you can find them on YouTube. Hello, Barney. Good to see you, mate. Yeah, I'll have a listen to a bit of this. Just the intro. There's a reason for me playing it to you. Spiritualized. They're such a weird band, and this really makes it clear.
Sweet Lord, this lonely life so. Go so slow, feel so lost, sweet Lord, sweet Lord, it's a sin.
It's not for everyone. Now, here's the interesting thing. It might actually be on that one, so I can read it to you. So, Lindsay, you said you're going to donate more. Obviously, I don't expect anything in terms of donations, but someone wrote under that other spiritualized album, Pure Phase, about how it was mixed, and it was, I said, based on information Lindsay had given me, no, Mads Bjerk, blah, blah, blah. And then Mads Bjerk answered it. Now, on that one, Ed Buller, ring any bells, Lindsay? Ed Buller says on that, the first comment under that track, Ed Buller, my first production. So I don't know if he means his first spiritualized production or his first ever record he produced. My first production. I was very lucky to get to make this. Jason had already done a fantastic job with it, but we made it better. And he goes on. And I've linked him to the Mads interview, and I'm hoping to get him on. It'd be lovely to talk to a music producer. Mads is an engineer, wasn't he, and a mixer. But it would be nice to get another music, someone who's actually been in the industry and made things like that. There's a cracking. So for people who don't know, Jason Pierce's missus ran off with that idiot from the Verve, and there's a really cutting comment in what I'm not going to look too long for it, but there's an amazing cutting comment about the Verve. Anyway, can't find it. So so Adam Smith said, shocking sound quality. Hello, James. Nice to see thee. Hello, Miss Glass. That ain't bad. Hello, ST3. That ain't bad for a Sharsted calling, is it? Hello, Cujo. Nice to see thee. Right. Bartentation has occurred. Oh, he takes risks to Zar Osmeister, especially. We're not making selections, Osmeister. Go to the got to go. Unai Emery is a new Villa manager, so I need to watch the Villa podcast. Have you got Unai Emery? He didn't do a lot for our lot, I've got to say. The Villa podcast will wait, Osmeister. That'll be there. That'll be there. But, if football's got to take you away, if football's going to take you, let it take you. But I am a little bit upset, to be fair. I'll be going to Thailand in a couple of days, Anything could happen, Osmeister. This could be the last stream. Nice one on the Lady Godiva. £2 for your olds. Don't spend it all at once. That'll be a large gin and tonic packer, and I expect to consume several. Gary wants to know, it's 2:45 in the morning here. Yeah. I ain't got to get up for work though, have I? Lovely. But I have got things to do tomorrow. I've got to get everything ready for Thailand, which isn't a lot, but, I overcomplicate things. I probably just need to... I'll take one pair of jeans, one pair of trousers, 2 shirts, 1 T-shirt, chargers. You're not meant to take vapes to Thailand, but what they're going to do, arrest me. They'll just take it off me, I imagine. Break my vape up into its constituent parts so I can put it back together on the plane and have a snarly bash in my seat. And there we go. Right, let me just see if I did actually think I had something that I wanted to show you, but it's going to be hard work. And by the way, people, I have got a Dragon's Den reaction video made. I've got a Dragon's Den video that I've actually made, and it's ready to go. Like, it's uploaded. There's no copyright problems with it. So after this stream, if you really want more, that'll be uploaded. I've decided not to do premieres for the standalone videos because while it's nice to we all get together and have another chat, people leave comments in the live chat rather than under the video. And apologies, but that doesn't help the algorithm. And believe me, I need the algorithm to help me. So, that. Now, you know, I've been going. I know we will do a call in, but you know, I'm trying to script this video about passion, and romance and love and the things that make life count. And as I said in my Dangers clips this morning, I mentioned the French word jouissance. It's very complicated, jouissance, because it's been used by Julia Kristeva, it's been used by French psychoanalyst, and what would you call Jacques Lacan? A little bit of an enfant terrible of the psychoanalytic scene, Jacques Lacan. Now, whilst doing my research, now I'm all over poetic language. I used it in that clip. You know, I used the Julia Kristeva. Look, you get somewhere very meta. What is that? Is that on my eye, the screen, or the glasses? You end up somewhere very meta when you start talking about language, using language. You know, that is always already a problem, you know, and a solution. But when you're trying to talk about language, especially when you're trying to talk about the limits of language, and you've only got language to talk about it, you're kind of restricted in what you can say due to the delimitations and restrictions of the tools at hand, which are language. Like you'd study chemicals using a Bunsen burner, test tubes, whatever. But you study language with language. You could argue that test tubes and Bunsen burners are made up of chemicals, though. So, good Lord, it's tricky old stuff, this, isn't it? Now, I came across this terrible channel, and I've seen a lot of this. I've seen a lot of these people who've spent a lot of time learning and studying the likes of Jacques Lacan. Jacques Lacan's writing is frequently contradictory, as are the majority of the good philosophers, because you learn more. You know, if you had a body of work, you know, spanning 30, 40 years, like Nietzsche, for instance, and it didn't contradict itself, the bloke writing that first book is the same bloke writing the last book. He didn't learn anything new, didn't discover anything, you know, didn't resolve dialectics and contradictions and have new ideas and new thoughts, just stayed on the same train. So, you know, you frequently get this in criticism. Well, he said this and he said that, and later he changed his mind. He renounced all that. Well, good. That doesn't make someone a bad philosopher. That makes someone a good philosopher. That's someone who continued to grow and think. However, I've been looking for a definition of jouissance. One of the problems with talking about philosophical concepts is a lot of the time the way you talk about it relies on a knowledge of other things. I mentioned Goethe's Faust earlier. You know, to get a proper, even the phrase proper understanding is a bit dodge. Well, it's very dodge. But to get a grasp of the references in Goethe's Faust, you need to have a pretty good understanding of things like Hegel's phenomenology, I can barely say it. And, and various other literary and philosophical texts. Now, if there's two people talking who both know a lot about those references, you can cut to the chase a bit quicker. But if you don't, you don't. So I was looking for a definition of jouissance, because I'm not writing about jouissance, I'm writing about passion. But you can't really talk about passion in a postmodern age without talking about jouissance. I just think it's unnecessary, because jouissance is actually very powerful. It's a powerful idea. But I want you to listen to this clown, right? Russell Grigg. Now, he might be very good. I don't know a lot about him. Nothing about him. I know nothing about him apart from this. Now, it's only now he's part of some Australian Lacanian group. Now, like I say, Jacques Lacan was a bit of an enfant terrible, done some amazing work, wrote some cracking essays. I'm into Jacques Lacan. But I don't think this bloke wants to explain jouissance to you. I think he wants to mystify you. I think he wants to confuse and elevate himself. It's not. I've seen a lot of this, and philosophy isn't that complicated if you know it. That sounds strange, but I think it was Einstein that said if you can't explain it to an 8-year-old, it's not right. It's convoluted, something like that. Listen to this bloke try and explain jouissance. I'll give you a minute of it. Now, admittedly, you need more than a minute to understand jouissance. Do you though? I don't know. But just listen to this, because I didn't use it. I haven't used it, and I'm not going to. But it took me back to people I spoke to years ago, my little French post-structural school of thinkers who, they like to elevate themselves. They like to remove you from the discourse intentionally because it made them feel good. What, you don't understand? And I hate that. Philosophy is a lover's discourse. Roland Barthes, I talked about it with Semigog, didn't I? Roland Barthes has written a beautiful book. If you want to, this sounds weird, but if you want a book about philosophy that you can stick in your toilet and dip into anywhere you want, go and buy A Lover's Discourse by Roland Barthes. Seriously, I have given that book away as a gift more times than any other book, except perhaps R.D. Laing's Conversations with Children. R.D. Laing was an alcoholic, a psychoanalyst who recorded the conversations he had with his own children, usually at night time when they were going to bed. Beautiful little things like his daughter says, "Dad, do you love God?" And R.D. Laing says, "Yeah, I do love God." And then the daughter says, "Well, I'm telling Mummy then." And they're just lovely little bits like that. But the incredible psychology of toddlers who are coming to terms with, imagine being a 3-year-old, 4-year-old coming to terms with the idea of love and of possession and ownership and property and also of protection and of binding. These are big things for children, and they are dealing with them. Kids, we've kind of constructed childhood. Hey, look, Teletubbies, look at it. Bing. Okay. But kids aren't thinking about that sort of stuff. Kids are thinking about love. Kids are thinking about death. Yeah. Kids are thinking about self and other. We get back to Jacques Lacan. Like one of Lacan's major contributions to contribute, I think I've got this right, it's a long time ago, was the idea of the mirror phase. And it's called the mirror phase because the perfect example is when the toddler recognizes him or herself in the mirror for the first time and suddenly realizes that it's basically, interestingly, with the current doxer, it interestingly realizes that they're a pronoun. that they're not part of everything, that the I, me, is also a you to someone else. You know, so if you can imagine a child looking in a mirror and they're like, whoa, but I'm another. I am an other. We are separate people. We're not all connected. So think of that for a child. Think of a child realizing that they're separate. That's almost like self-abandonment. You've already been abandoned. The trauma of being abandoned by life itself, by self itself, is ridiculous. And then death. Oh, no, it don't go on forever, son. You know, this is why children who lose their parents when they're very young. That's catastrophic. Absolutely catastrophic. It doesn't mean they're going to be a bad person, but it certainly means they're going to have a lot to deal with in life, a hell of a lot, which we all have, but they've been steered on that direction very early. Life, death, attraction, abandonment, and otherness and self. That's what 3-year-olds are thinking about. It's crazy times. But check out this geezer talking about Jack Lacan, and then we'll get into the phoning, because I've done 30 minutes. Emma's probably got a stopwatch out. Listen to this. I'm playing you this not because it's good, but because it's fucking awful. Here we go.
Here's an idea of about how to think about jouissance. I think, you know, very basically, crudely even. You know, if you put a and it's the fact that it has a reference to the biological is to be ignored, as it were. It's just an illustration, which has as an illustration its limitations. Think of the experimental rat that has electrodes that are taped in direct contact with its stimulation points in its brain. And you give it a lever which provokes the stimulation, right? Every time it presses the lever. That's a pleasure center in the brain. And what you will find is that the rat will press that lever again and again and again to the complete, completely ignoring anything else. And that is an illustration, if you like. Not an illustration, but
by the way, it ain't. It ain't at all.
Yeah, it doesn't illustrate it, but it's sort of.
He just said then it doesn't illustrate it. Have you learned anything about jouissance? I mean, he pronounced it jouissance. I mean, fair enough, he's got an Australian accent, but nothing. And listen. Occasionally, he says yes. He goes, He's got this little self-affirmer going on. No, mate, it's no.
Expression, if you like, which is a not to be taken too literally, of the nature of the death drive. Something which pursues everything beyond the limits of the biological and the interests, the good, the interests of the organism, not just the homeostasis, but the well-being of the animal. Okay, because we think of, in a way, biology, everything is Aristotelian, in a way, in the sense that the biological operations of the individual are there for the maintenance of the individual in a state of well-being. Things happen to interfere with that, illness, cancer, whatever. And that is something which comes.
No, you need to shut up. What's really sad about that is, did you hear him going, Now, we've all got our little weird tics and that, but self-affirmation mid-sentence is well dodged. What's really ugly is Lacan was very poetic in his language because he wanted to do what Chris Davis said. He's talking about language, using language, so he needed to threaten the limits of the enclosure of language to be able to talk about things. And he done it poetically. That's what Chris Davis says poetic language is. And Chris Davis was very poetic as well. Although all that crowd was, Derrida was, it's very poetic because it has to be. Because you can't talk about language with the confines of language. And so he just wants to be part of that. But he's not doing it in a way where it adds to it. He's doing it where it adds to him. How dare he talk about the pleasure principle? Fool. So yeah, be careful out there, people. Be careful. There's some absolute chances. He's part of a society. He's part of the Australian Lacanian society. There's nothing in there about jouissance. It's a lot better than that. There's more passion in jouissance. What's he talking about? Homeostasis. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? This is an illustration of jouissance, blah, blah, blah. It's not really an illustration. Okay. Hello, Doc Fart. Hello, Doc Shelley. Hello, it's a duck. Right, I'll get on. Hello, Wolfie. The show never starts. You've been round here enough. Hello, Bill. How are you, son? Good to see you as ever. Hello, real Jolly Roger. Hoister, Jolly Roger. Hoister, Jolly Roger. It's your money that we want, and your money we shall have. Ding, ding, ding. Of all the pirates on the sea, the worst of them was Blackbeard. Planet X Hunter, Avid Grifter. Thank you, my friend. Marciano Capricinata Tutu. Let me just go back and see if I've missed any, then we'll get this show on the road. No, that's it. We've done Ozmeisters, done Packers, done Planet X. It's very kind of you people. I know everyone's skin. It really means a lot to me. Ozmeister. Hey! Yeah, then I started talking. Then I played that bloke talking about jouissance, and you thought, actually, it's nice to have you here, mate. You can come on and chat. You usually do. That's what it is. Oh, look at that. Chrissy says jouissance with her own take on the spelling. It makes me think of Belle de Jour. Oh, because of jour. Interesting. Well, it's interesting because jouer, it's Lumi will probably be able to tell this, but jouissance also has got to come, literally to come and to play involved in it. Wait till you get I'm scripting this video. I've only scripted about 3 videos in my entire 7 years. Now, one other thing before we start. Thank you, Ozmeister, for that lady as well. Thank you, Planet X. One other thing. The story about the ants in the toaster. Good gosh. Much like learning about Goethe's Faust, I had to go so many. Oh, by the way, to make sense of this, I've got to tell you about this. To make sense of this, yeah, that in a Substack piece, that's about a 50,000 word piece. That might be a novella-ette. Mumford once said to me about novellas. He said novella. He said you take the laziest creative form, the novel, and make it even lazier, the novella. But I'm going to write a novella-ette, which is even shorter. A pamphlet, I think they call it. A pamphlet about the ants in the toaster. But we will get there. Anyway, hello, Daffy. Good to see you. Hello, Carl. How are you, mate? Hello, King Corona. Keys to the Kingdom. Hello, Giles. Nice brickwork. Nice pointing. Don't worry, I have a plan. No, sweet. No, that's what that fella was saying or what I was saying. Well, it doesn't really matter. You haven't got to apologise. It's fine. I mean, I didn't explain it. I didn't attempt to explain it. So, you must be talking about him. Hello, Aramas. Good to see you. Yeah, that is not it. That's what I don't get. It, yeah, it didn't make sense, Aramas. He did pronounce it Jewish songs. I thought that. I did think it, but I didn't want to say it because, you know. Hello, Denise Moniz. Barney. Right. I'm just going to wrap up the last of these. Hello, Evil Dog. New on the firm or just a name change? Hello, Yendor. Good to see you. Alan, hello, mate. Hello, my friend. Good to see you. Good to see you too. What time is it there? I never know whether these late ones are early for you or late for you. Yeah, thank you, Alan. Yeah, he's part of some Australian Lacanian, i.e. of Lacan, Jacques Lacan, the French psychoanalyst I was telling you about. And there you go. I knew it was there somewhere. Right. Hello, Lulu. Hello, Dopey Denzel. Woodlanders on the firm. Right. Hang on a minute. Let me just check. Hello, Flammer. Hello, October. Right. Over here. And got this. And then we'll get on with the calling. Calling. It's a Sharsted excuse. Let other people do the work. I always say that, but I don't really. I do pay much attention to what's being said and try and extract from it an interesting conversation. Lindsay Spiritualize. Hello, Void. Good to see you. You're all right, Bill. Life is missing bits. Hello, Rob. You all right, son? What does it matter how many lovers you have if none of them gives you the universe? That's quite beautiful. Although, what does it matter how many lovers you have if none of them take from you the universe? Touche. Hello, Lumi. Good to see you, sir. Yeah, but the problem is there's different time zones, isn't there? So it's not always the same. Like Devon Tracy is something weird, like 14 hours behind. So Lord knows. Lord knows. Right, nearly there, people. Here we go. Nice one, Lindsay. You know, a 10-bit. Don't go crazy, Lindsay. I know what the financial situation in the UK is like. A couple of things of note. That photo of a young Anne Widdecombe on the Secret Crushes stream looked a lot like Jason Spaceman. That's quite insulting because I know what era of Jason Spaceman you mean, and he had reasons to look drawn and haggard. A young Widdecombe didn't. My secret crush was my cat Jeffrey, but that's not secret because you told me before. Your email has even got young Jeff in it. And the saddest song of all time is Vincent by Don McLean. Yeah, it really is. What is it? Starry, starry night. Paint your pictures blue and grey. Oh, it's lovely. Absolutely beautiful. No one else chose that. Treat Mumsy to a drink with this money. Lindsay, I'm going to be honest. Nah. Of course I will. Of course I will do that. What, water? a warm water. A cup of tea. Bally G, bless him, right? I'm not a drinker anymore. But if I'm going to Thailand, I will have a couple of nights on the lash. You know, I want to not know how to get home at least one night. Come on. But Bally has always been so lightweight. Like whenever we've got, you know, we were at art school together for years, and like he'd have a pint of Guinness or something, and then he'd be like this. And I go, hey, can we have a couple of shots over here? Do us a couple of those two large bourbons, please, mate. Go on, son, get it down your hatch. And then they'd be like, fucking hell, man. I'm in a fucking... And I'll be like, mate, it's 5 o'clock. I've got to... We're not even out yet. Bless him. And like, we'd be walking down the streets and I'd look at him and they'd be all like... Cheap, though, isn't it? Let's be honest. It's cheap. If getting Sharsted is your aim and lack of finances is your game, but he cannot. Once, right? I shouldn't really say this, but I will. Once, Bally got on the got on the naughty. Literally one line. Collapsed, fainted. Once he drove all the way up to my mother's house in Dartford from Wales. When he came in, I'd been smoking skunk all day, and he said, "Look at the state of your eyes." And my brother was sitting there. And me and my brother's relationship is peculiar. So my brother just ignores Ball. He just sits. Brother's just sitting there smoking fags, looking at the telly. He can speak 6 or 7 languages, my brother. He's a very bright bloke. You know, me and him are quite anomalous in that community in many ways. Just that we went to university, but, you know, he can speak 6 or 7 languages, and he's got a good grasp of Latin, which helps. But, you know, I'm talking fluent in Japanese, including writing, Russian, German, Spanish, French, English, of course. I did say Russian, and like I said, Latin. He's never managed to say sorry in any of them, though. Boom! I get it in every time. But Bill, it's funny you say that, because he went to Heriot Watt in Edinburgh to study simultaneous interpretation, which is where one person speaks to you. Right, a translator will take a document or something and translate it. But simultaneous interpretation is where one bloke's talking to you. I've got a little funny story here, actually. One bloke's talking to you in Russian, and while they're talking, you're telling the person they're talking to in German, for instance, what they're saying. So they're sort of going, and you're sort of going, you know, you're talking to the other person, live translation, basically. On his first day at uni, because he studied in simultaneous interpretation, specialising in history and politics, which are one and the same thing. I mean, only a Marxist system would separate history and politics. It's a peculiar thing to do. But on his first day, they had a lecture where their head lecturer said to them, "You are in the top 0.1% of people to be approached to become a spy." Yeah, amazing, eh? They absolutely told him that because of his language skills, because of his proven intellect, and because of what he was studying and the languages he knew. He said there's only like 6 of them in this little seminar, and this bloke said, "Look, this is very serious. And while you might think it's all very glamorous, you know, these people are salesmen." Hello, Eric. Eric, I couldn't do that from English to English. He said, as much as it sounds very glamorous, these people are salesmen. They'll tell you, you'll have as many passports as you need. You'll have, what do they call it? What's it called? I can't remember the name of it, but it's a very good thing to have. What is it when you can't get arrested in a certain country because you have this thing and all these other things? But it's all lies, you know. They'll just take you into a room and put a bag over your head and cut your nuts off until you speak. That's the truth. John Palmer says a license to kill. That's it. They give you a little water PPK. That's it. What is it? Well done, Bill. There you go. That's it. But you don't. I mean, weirdly, let's not be stupid. As a spy, no, you don't have that, because you're not a spy. You're meant to just blend in. You don't suddenly go, "Well, hang on a minute, hang on. Actually, I'm a spy." And so they sat him down, and he said they told him stories of, the most hideous stories that previous students went through. And everyone flips as well, because the first thing is, imagine getting caught out. And my brother did do a year placement in Moscow. Imagine getting caught. Hey, maybe my brother's a spy. That would explain so much. Don't tell anyone. Everyone flips, because if you get caught, you're fucked. You're going to the gulag. It's over. And they're going to they're going to torture every bit of information they can out of you and throw your shivering corpse to the wind. Unless they say, well, there's that option, or you can be, you know, what's it called? So I did warn you I'm absolutely shafted, but you can basically, you can flip. And I said to him, were you tempted? He said everyone who walked out of that seminar was going, wow, imagine. It had the absolute opposite effect. Everyone was who came out of it was thinking, I hope I get approached. Can you imagine what it would be like? You're just sitting down having a cup of tea in a cafe and a bloke comes in. Hello, Mr. Dangerfield. In the envelope I have put in your briefcase, there is $60,000. There's another $60,000 tomorrow if you meet me for conversation regarding information. I'd fucking jump at it. I wouldn't. Come on, what an adventure. You'd have to. You'd have to. It would be a proper game of self, cat and mouse, so continually telling yourself it's for the greater good, when really it's just because you wanted an adventure. That's my first question. Do I get a concealed carry permit globally? When I was reading what you can take on the aeroplane yesterday, it said if you've got a gun, please take your paperwork and weapons to the blah 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 and make sure the bullets are separated from the gun. I was thinking, who's got a fucking shooter on my aeroplane? Right, no more of this. No more. Double agent. There you go. That's the word I was looking for. Wait, one in the chat. If you were a younger man, or woman, you know, how old would my brother have been when he started Area What? It's in Edinburgh. But imagine you're 18 years old, you got no wife, no missus, no kids, and you're approached. Hello, Rollo. You're approached to be a spy. One, if you consider it. One, if you consider it. Two, if you're just like, no way. Anyone in between, I'm not interested in. Hello, Chasworth. Oh, yeah, I know. I'll get on with that. Yeah. Good call, Chasworth. Appreciate it. So my double agent brother's sitting there just smoking fags, watching Emmerdale. Mumford comes in, he goes, stay to you. And I'm just like, I was a stay high then. This was pre-smack. Look at all the spies. There you go, John. I could tell you, but I'd have to kill you. Good call. Look, Rollo, I'm just doing a King Corona 6-1s. The sensible man there, Albert. No. And I'm think Albert's right, of course, but that's because I'm 50. 18, do you want to be a spy? Yeah. Yeah. The answer's yes. Hello, mate. Yeah, I saw. I'm on holiday, so you probably got the thing. Yeah, I asked Hypocrite if there was any space on his channel for a chat. I've got a little secret to tell you about last time I was on as well, which will. I'll tell you what, it'll blow your beans. Nice one, mate. I'll have a look at that. I'll have a look at that later. I'm actually on holiday, so I'm not opening my emails, but that's a special one. Yeah, will do. You'll get an answer later after this stream. Nice one, mate. Thanks for letting me know. Oh, actually, I think I already saw it because I got the notification on my phone. I think I'm in Thailand. Now, I might still be able to do it. I'll talk to you later about it. Nice one, my boy LP. that joke's made me laugh now for about 5 years. Hey, it's your boy LP. He started putting his name in now. It's going up in the world. I don't know. Get over 50,000 subs and you start telling people who you are. I don't know what's going on. Exactly. Right. So Mumford sees the state of me. And I said, well, you know, don't judge it. It's time to catch up. So I put a Billy Bifter together. I put too much in it because, you know, I've been on it for about 8 years at this stage. And Mumford doesn't usually smoke. You know, this is going back 30 years. So we're in the kitchen. I'm making pancakes and filling them with honey and maple syrup and bananas. Give me another one. and he's just on this bifter. And I said, "Go easy, mate." I said, "It's quite strong." And he said, "Ah," he said, "I want to catch up with you." He said, "I feel like we're not on." And he was going to explain that we were on different. Hello, John with the wind. He said, "I feel like we're on different wave." And I see him struggling a bit. And then he just went, all the colour drained out of him. And I watched him just walk back into the front room. It's only a little middle of terrace, 12 foot across, right? So I just watched him sort of. And there's a cupboard under the stairs. Now, he'd been to my mother's house by this point about 20 times. In front of the cupboard door, there's a bird cage on like a stick, like those bird cages. That's how they all are, isn't it? You don't hang them from the ceiling unless you're rich. You have it on a stick. And so I went, "Oi," because I knew something weird was happening. And then I just heard the most horrific noise and then more noise and all sorts. I've run into the front room. And my brother just still hasn't taken his head away from the telly, smoking fags. He went, "Chris, your mate fell over." He went, Mumford's on the floor. His eyes are flickering like he's having a seizure. There's bits of bird seed in his eyes, which made it funnier. His head has hit my Juno 6 and broke 2 of the keys off it. The bird cage is on the floor next to him. My brother went, "Yeah, I think he tried to open the bird cage to go up the stairs." And I got it out of Mumford later that he just went, "This is probably the door." And then I said, "Quick," I said, so I went and got a flannel, put it under cold water, and then come back and put it on his face. And he went, "Oh, thanks, mate." And I went, "I just pissed on that." And he still brings it up to this day that even when I put a bit of nice cold flannel on his face, I had to say I pissed on it. Right, link's gone in the chat. Go on, who's coming in first? Let's go. I haven't really. I think I have. I'm with Andrew. I love a whitey, especially when it's someone else. Absolutely. Yeah, poor bloke. It's just not his cup of tea. It's not his thing. Packer, have you ever pulled a whitey on the jazz cigarettes? But
not that I can remember. No, but I have seen it done. It's hilarious.
What about on any other psychoactive alcohol? Have you ever?
Oh yeah, a few weeks ago.
A few weeks ago. You're still.
I stayed on beer all night, and we had to walk home, and I threw up 3 times before we got to the crossing. I got about 50 yards out the pub.
Hang on, how much beer did you drink to be a puker?
I can't remember. It don't take a lot now. It would have been like 7 pints, something like that.
That's still quite a lot of beer at our age, son. 7.
What I was going to say was there's a talking to the spy thing. There's a really good film with Sam Rockwell.
Everyone, can you just see how he's got Packer's got so used to opening up the call-in, he just doesn't decide then. Not interested in that conversation. I want to talk about.
We'll get back to that. I just want.
No, I don't want to. I like what you've done there. I prefer it. Go on, Spies.
There's a really good film with Sam Rockwell and George Clooney and
Spies Like Us. Spies Like Us. Paul McCartney done the theme tune. Dan Aykroyd and the other funnier bloke. No, I know it's not Spies Like Us. Go on.
And Julia Roberts. And Rutger Hauer turns up in it as well. I can't remember what it's called though.
All right, someone in the chat will say it again because I talked all over it.
Sam Rockwell. Who did I say?
Yep. Julia Roberts.
Yeah, and the other guy, George Clooney.
George, you didn't say George Clooney. A Dangerous Mind?
It's about the bloke in America that created the dating show that Cilla Black did here.
I'm not getting a lot for A Dangerous Mind, I must admit.
No, King Corona, it's not called Wake Up.
I just see it as you read it. Has anyone got anything else to offer on A Dangerous Mind? Because I put that into YouTube and it doesn't look. Oh, no, here are. Drew Barrymore, Confessions of a Dangerous Mind. Drew Barrymore, George Clooney. Has it got military stuff in it?
Well, he goes to East Germany and that.
Chuck Barris. Yeah, this is it. This is it. Right, let's have a look, people. What have you got to say about this before I embarrass you by playing the trailer?
Oh, well, I'll say, Chris, it's really good. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's a funny film because it's Sam Rockwell's generally funny way. No, but it's funny in places.
Okay, so like,
it's not like a comedy, but there are funny bits in it because he's like he's like an idiot. He's a bumbling idiot most of the time.
I can see why you like it.
And a womanizer.
Well, I can certainly see why you like it. Let's have a little look at. It's called Confessions of a Dangerous Mind. I only know because underneath it said Chuck Barris, young, energetic, and focused on a top career in the growing television industry. And then it goes on to he gets lured into the dangerous world of the CIA operative. That sounds pretty much like what you just said, didn't it?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's meant to be his memoirs, but like no one knew till he wrote them. So no one's sure that it's even true.
Oh, that's the beauty of lying. Right, here we go. Let's have a look at some.
My name is Charles Hirsch Barris. I've written pop songs. I've been a television producer. In addition, I have murdered 33 human beings.
That is a fantastic opening to a trailer. That's brilliant. As if that's not an immediate hook. In addition, I've murdered 33 human beings. Brilliant work. Let's have some more.
I talked to a psychic today, and she said that you are going to be very successful.
A pretty girl asks 3 handsome guys questions, and she picks one to date. That's it. That's the show.
His future was uncertain.
I'm sorry about your show. Are you okay?
I just wanted to tame people.
His every move was being watched.
Great stuff, Packer. I certainly will not be downloading that as soon as this stream is finished. That looks like it might be right up my straw. So good call. Good call. What about spying and you? What if? Serious question now. Hang on. Wait. Serious question. You were given quite clear objectives, right? They got you a job doing what you do now. You're a handyman, aren't you? So that you can get in most places. They'd already got you the job sorted out. All they wanted you to do was get a key reader. Oh, you've gone quiet, mate. You're muted.
I muted myself. I just said you can get in anywhere if you put on a pair of overalls and carry a ladder. You can just walk in.
Well, a decent pair of shoes and a nice suit has much the same effect, weirdly. I mean, I know of, in the locksmith game, people call locksmiths and get them to break into places. Girlfriend's on the phone. I think she's out of her nut as well, so I'm going to have to mute this. Talk to him, will you, Packer?
Great. What was Chris talking about? What did he want to talk to me about before I cut him off? What was he asking me? Anybody? What's she saying? Do you reckon she's really drunk getting them out to him? And then he'll say, shall I show him?
Packer. Oh, hey, Packer, you can talk to my drunk girlfriend.
Hello.
Hello,
Are you on the toilet? I heard the wee-wee. You can't say hello, Packer, and then piddle. Darling, did you have a nice night? Now you're pulling your trousers. I can't believe she's piddled on telly. No, put them away. Put them away. Come on, I'm busy. Right, love, I'm glad you had a lovely night. I'll talk to you tomorrow.
You have that effect on the women.
All right, love, have a shower. All right, don't have a shower. Probon. Oh, come on, look. I'm going to have to mute it because I'm going to have to put her in her place.
She took one look at me and she had a shower. Sorry, people. Don't know why he's done this to me. I ain't got nothing to say.
unemployment crime.
Would I spy for money? No, not all the money in the world.
Apologies, Packer. She's usually quite good, but me going to Thailand, she's pretending that it's going well, but it ain't. She's not dealing with it at all well.
Yeah, yeah, she ain't bothered. She ain't bothered. What are you doing now?
Yeah.
She ain't bothered. What about now?
Yeah. She said to me, I'm only going to call you twice a day. I said,
yeah. 6 hours at a time.
The thing is, Packer, I can yeah, there you go. 11 in the morning till 11 at night. Now the thing is, though, she's got every reason to. I can understand why she's concerned, but I'm not interested in any of that shit anymore. I want to finish my novel. If she actually knew how dull I will be catching up with an ex.
Right, in between getting off your face and hanging around with Mumford and flashing your pecs off at your ex-bird.
Yeah.
How much in what, 4 days?
I'm actually out there.
How much novels getting finished in that time, do you think?
Oh,
once you get there and Paul says, come on, we'll go for a drink.
He doesn't. He's not like that though. He's not,
No.
because 2 drinks will down him. He'll go out at 9 in the evening. I'll be getting up about 11 o'clock in the morning. I'll be writing from 11 to about 8 every day. I promise. I know I will. I'm quite disciplined when it comes to it. John with the wind. You knew him, mate. Nice to see you. She's a spy. She absolutely is saying that, and now she's drunk. Anyway, so Packer here. So they just want you to get a USB keystroke reader into some fella's computer. 200 foul. Yeah, you see a few quid.
No, I still probably wouldn't.
Really? No, really?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, I'm not computer savvy for a start, so I wouldn't know. I wouldn't have a clue what I was. I don't think I've got the bottle for it.
Okay, that's interesting. They'd train you, obviously. It would be weird though when they're training you, and then suddenly goes, "Do you know how to load a weapon?" And you're like, "Whoa!" A minute ago, it was USBs.
The only time I've ever been under that sort of pressure is when I didn't know it was coming. So you have to hand it on the fly.
Your autobiography, Packer, the accidental spy who came in from the womb.
What? Do you know what I mean? It's when the coppers turn up unexpected and that sort of thing. Then I'm all right, mostly. Yeah,
you can sort of turn it. Your body gets, the old adrenaline starts pumping. You think a bit quicker, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't.
I can hear her muttering in the background. Don't get her on because I go all silly. But does she want you to do it for 200 foul?
Would you want me to do it for 200 grand, Donny? Yes.
I mean, that's a fair wage, though, isn't it? A tax-free,
She just said she wants to buy Robert a go-kart. He'd get a good for 200 grand, wouldn't he?
There you go. These are the things. I mean, it was interesting. Pizzle said to me about a year ago, I think, he said that he said he wishes he had a life like mine and all the adventures and that. But I answered him, you probably heard this, and I said to him, the thing is, Pizzle, those adventures didn't happen because I was excited necessarily about life. It was because I didn't have any value for my own life. Like, I can remember smuggling contraband across national borders, and I didn't give a shit if I got caught, because in my head, well, that's an adventure, isn't it? Get locked up in some third world prison. That's a story. That's not a way of living. That's you've got no self-respect if you're happy for that sort of lark. I think there's not a fine line between that and getting the most out of life. Getting the most out of life also is knowing when to say that's a stupid idea. If it all goes well, great. But if they've gone so far down the list, they've come to me. They're not the best. It's not the best operation. Anything you want to add before I chuck you out?
No, that was about it. What was you going to ask me to start with, or have you forgotten now? Because I changed the
It was
subject.
just about whiting out and that on the booze, but you told me.
Yeah, no, that's it then. That was it.
Pack, did you ever do acid?
Yes.
Fan?
What? A fan
You
of
ever-
it? I can't really remember. Honestly, it's. I wish I hadn't done any of it. To be fair,
Yeah.
for about I can't. I've got very little memories of about 20 years. It's
My
strange.
memory's been all right. My long-term memory, like I can pick things out of my past like nobody's business, but short-term, I'm a bag of nonsense. You know, I'll forget things I said yesterday.
And unlike you, most of the things I can remember just make me cringe. I've said before I wasn't a nice person, so
Yeah,
you know.
yeah. I mean, I have also been an arsehole, but most of the time it was good fun, and I was quite charming actually when I was out of my head. But if it was booze alone, that's when I used to be a bit of an arsehole. I'm, you know, not nowadays. Not. I'm just a nice bloke generally, I think. But you know, 18, 19, fill him up with whiskey and let the mad dog loose. It's horrible. Girls liked it though. So,
Speaking of booze, I went on 42's channel Saturday night, and I was already drunk when I went on, and I just sat there drinking pints of G&T, chatting.
Oh, I'll have to watch this. This sounds great.
Oh, right, so I woke up Sunday, we went karting, and I'm driving home. I'm thinking, I can't really remember what the fucking hell I was on about last night. Yeah, the missus says I stunk like a brewery Sunday morning.
Have you watched it back?
Well, see, this is it. I turned it. I went onto it and I turned it on quite near the end, and I'm just sitting there going,
No, and I bet you turned it off, didn't you?
No.
Yeah. Okay, Packer, always a pleasure, mate. Look after yourself. Talk to you soon. Oh yeah, look, It's a Duck said it was a good chat. There you go.
Okay, I'll take that. I won't delve
You
any
have to.
further than that because I like I say, I was drunk. So
You're all right, mate. I'm sure it'll be fine. I mean, you know, I think we tend to think the worst, but you know, you're in good company. 42 is a great bloke. I'm sure he would have kept you in line.
yeah, there was 42. Some bloke I didn't know, and then and Toffee came on later. Toffee was having a dig at me. Not that I mind. That's fair enough. You know, everybody's entitled to their opinion, and it was, you know, all in good humour. But yeah, I felt no, I can't watch it.
And how did you end up on the pints of gin and tonic? Gin and tonic? No one says that today. That was a peculiar.
I was already on it. It's Saturday night, isn't it? I thought I'll have a drink.
Hello, love. Got a pint glass. Got a gallon jug.
Yeah.
All right, mate. Look after yourself.
I opened that. That's about. That's what I had.
What gin is that? Oh, that looks lovely.
It's spiced. It's nice.
What? Like cinnamon and all that lot?
No. I couldn't tell you what's in it, to be fair, and it just says it's spiced. Spices of the Orient. Yeah.
Right up my Strasser. All right, mate. I'm having trouble getting rid of you. Can you go now?
Yeah, ta-da. Bye,
Take care, Packer. Ta-da, mate. I see Toffee wanted to come in. Packer's always good stuff, isn't he? What a lovely bloke. Interesting as well. And you know what I find when I talk to Packer, he doesn't in any way try and pretend to be anything more or less than he is. He's quite happy with who he is. Now, I'm sure he isn't always, because that would be ridiculous. But he just, this is what I do, this is what I've done, this is who I am. Take it or leave it. Toffee!
Oh, I'm in.
Oh my God. You're quite excited about it, which is a great start. That's a lovely little...
I hope my accent doesn't give you nightmares.
You sound exactly like someone I used to know, but he was one of the good Northerners that I knew. So you're all right. Is that your dog in the avatar?
Is what?
Is that your dog in the avatar?
No, that's just the standard one off YouTube. Off Google, I mean. Google Images.
He looks
I'm a
lovely.
big Staffy fan. I've got 7 of them.
Oh my God! What? All independent, or did you breed them?
Well, yeah, 5 of them independent, and then I've got 2 of them who are from the other, bred from the other 2. I've managed to keep one of them recently. I've got a little puppy on the go. Oh, I love him. A little how old is he? A 9-month-old. I've said to you a while ago in the past, because you used to have one, didn't you? And I was saying, if you're ever back in England, get your, oh, look at him.
I know.
They're very rare as well, you know, the solid white ones.
And also, he was a long-legged one. He wasn't like a paralysis, you know.
No, yeah, that's what mine are. There's sort of 2 different types of them, where you've got the more bull than terrier, or more terrier than bull.
That's right.
So you've got the long-legged ones, or the little short, squat fatties.
That's it. But I was never into getting a dog. And the day my missus forced me into getting him, I just fell in love with him. And, you know, if I was ever to get a dog, it would be another Staff, because they're different, aren't they? They're not like other dogs.
Once you've had one of them, you'll never get another breed that loves you more than one of them dogs, honestly. Absolutely. And they've got such a bad reputation, needlessly so.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you having so many, you probably know all the arguments, but you know, you can turn a poodle into a dangerous dog if you treat it badly enough. You know.
That's it. That's it.
Well, in Victorian times, I think they used to call them the children's nursemaid or something. They used to sing
the nanny dog.
That's it.
They used to use them to guard cribs. They've got, and I don't even know why it is. There's no particular science behind it, but they've got an affinity with children. And the UK Kennel Club, they've got 2 breeds, literally 2 breeds that they recommend to families, and the Staffies and the West Highland Terrier. There's something about them. If you get my dogs, if they go, obviously they love me, but if they're around any child, I just get ignored completely, and they're just instantly like, oh, kids.
They're remarkably tolerant of kids just putting their hands in their faces as well. They just like,
weird.
oh, it's going to be like this. Yeah.
Do you know what I wanted to talk to you about, Dange? It was a good while ago now.
You're going to have to give me a bit of time to guess. No.
A couple of years ago, probably about a year and a half ago. Do you know a guy, Matthew? Oh, you will do. Matthew Smith, the old games developer, Manic Miner.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
You ever remember he mentioned him? He's a few doors away from me.
That's right. And you asked him if he'd come on, and he said, nah.
No, it's unfortunate. I've been asking him for a good year. But he's a strange one. He's a strange one, to say the least. Yeah, I couldn't even put my finger on what his problem is like, but I've been asking him for a while. And I've even said to him, just because I wanted him on so much, I said, Matt, I'll throw you like 50 quid, sorry, if you go on with him.
I'll double that, because that show gets thousands, that gets 50,000 views, because so many people, you know, there's like about 5 minutes footage of him on the internet, and I think it's that interview with Ian Lee of all people.
Ian Lee, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The ridiculous thing about him is, and I don't even think he realizes it himself. I'm not a big gamer personally, but in that world, it's a big industry. It's bigger than the film and music industry, the game industry. These, you know, like Grand Theft Auto, it's a billion dollar industry. But he doesn't seem to realize what an icon he is in that. He could turn up at conventions and get paid thousands, but he's just not interested. Works in Asda.
Just for people who don't know, because so that this resonates a bit more with you, there was when home computing was sort of kicking off in about 1980, 1981, the ZX Spectrum came out. Clive Sinclair ZX Spectrum, 16K. That's nothing. 16 kilobytes, people, not megs, not gigs, kilobytes. And Manic Miner was a 16K game. It wasn't 48, was it? It was 16K. And what Matthew Smith done with 16K and the ridiculously poor graphic limitations of the Spectrum, you know, most games were monochrome, or there was terrible color clash when you got a block next to another block. But Manic Miner was it just changed everything. everything for sort of home computing and gaming. And he wrote it at home. I think he wrote it on, what was it, a Tandy? It was he bought the machine in Tandy. It had a Z80 thing. So that, see, this is what me and my mates at home never realised. We used to try and make games. My mate could program. We had an assembler and all this, and a monitor, not a monitor, but a machine code monitor. But we never could understand how people like Matthew Smith made Manic Miner. But obviously it turns out you make games for the Spectrum on another computer, and then just stuff it into the Spectrum.
As you said, this was literally from his bedroom as a teenager. It's the house that's 4 doors away from me that he made it in. Still lives there. It's his ma's house.
His parents.
Yeah, it's his ma's. I won't say her name. I love her, his ma. It's his ma's house that he made it from. So he literally still lives in that house. But
it did go to his head, though. I'm sure he was in.
No, he went on a binge.
Yeah, that's the word.
20-year binge.
I mean, I think alcohol's involved, but there's certainly something else there. He's got that.
Well, he recently, about 3 years ago, and he won't tell. I speak to him every other day. He won't tell me the story, but you can even look this up. For some reason, he was living in some kind of, I want to say, like a sort of Hare Krishna type place in Amsterdam.
I'm not surprised at all.
And he got deported from Holland. So I'm imagining there's some kind of drugs things going on there that he wasn't meant to be doing, or prostitution maybe. He won't be watching, so I can say that.
It takes a lot to get chucked out of Amsterdam.
No, exactly. Yeah, imagine getting deported from Amsterdam. Have you seen footage of him, Dange? Have you seen his? He's not looking good, like.
No, I have seen. I suppose the photo. Well, I've spent a lot of time on the internet, so if you've seen it online, I've probably seen it online. I mean, sort of toothless, dirty teeth, and I was about to say unshaven, but there's unshaven and there's unshaven, isn't there?
He's a cleaner in Asda. He's a legend he's a cleaner in Asda. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I'm just saying he's a legend in the game, and he's a cleaner in Asda. And you're like, what are you doing, mate? You could get paid.
Toffee, serious question. Do you think if he was given the funding and the team, do you think he'd still have it about him to make a game that was worthy? Or do you think it's just the technology and everything's just moved past him?
No, I think he was a sort of a person of his time. I don't think he could be repeating the same kind of thing now. Like, he's very much of his time. He was just in the right time at the right place. He's got a high IQ, though. I tell you what I was quite impressed with him about. You know, Jordan, I don't know if you're allowed to say the word, the COVID lockdowns. I don't know if that gets you a channel ban. The old
I think you're right these days. I think everyone's forgotten about it. Yes, Carl. The ZX81 was 1K. Yes. Sorry.
He was very much against that. He's a genuine English eccentric, I'd like to call him. He used to be marching up and down the street with signs over his head saying no to the COVID lockdown. Just in the middle of the day, just like, no to the COVID lockdowns.
What, in your street?
In my street.
Really domestic, not too far from the mother sort of thing. He reminds me in a way of like a Sid Barrett character, you know.
Yeah, or who's that guy that you showed the other day, the author? That brilliant, what was his name? The one who done that Max Hard, that I fell in love with him. That Max Hardcore, the one that done that Max Hardcore.
David Foster Wallace, you listened to that?
Yeah. Sort of reminds me in the same kind of ilk as him, like a tortured genius. Obviously not on his level, but a tortured genius, very much so.
Oh, I'm glad you enjoyed that.
Mate, I think everyone enjoyed that. I'd never heard of him until you put him up.
No, he wrote Infinite Jest is his big one that just, tore the literary world, the modern contemporary American literary world apart. But some of those older ones in Consider the Lobster. Have you listened to that one yet about the main? Yeah. I mean, as a writer, when you look at the material, a lobster festival, there's not much there. even the adult news convention, there's only so much you can say about the porn industry, but no, when you've got that ability to look at things and but look at them from a different angle, you know, that's like a 40-minute piece in speaking. So what are we're looking at about 60,000, 70,000 words written on just a lobster festival. But what he actually tells you about modern culture is it's mind-blowing and a real loss, and it really saddened me that he killed himself.
Well, the initial interview that you showed us, I think all the scrubs are at the same boat as me. I'd never heard of him before. That initial interview was not an emotional kind. I'm your typical male, but it was very moving. You can sort of see the pain in the fella's eyes, like he was suffering, and it was very moving, very moving.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Very, very, very charismatic guy. And as you said, anyone who kills themselves is a tragedy, but when you've got a tortured genius like that, it's just extra sad, isn't it?
You have to wonder, like he tells this story and he uses 9/11. He says it's not that you're scared of jumping out. It's not that you're any less scared than anyone else of jumping out that window on the 30th floor. It's just that the flames coming behind you are worse than that. And because he talked about suicide before he killed himself, and that gave me a new sort of a different, you know, I used to think suicide was quite cowardly, and now what I do is don't pass judgment, because why? What's the point? But if you do kill yourself, you've got to be in some fucking pain, because I think that's the thought of it. Just how do you? He hanged himself. How do you do that?
Talking about, if you take this into consideration as well, anyone who's ever hung themselves, they find themselves with scratch marks all over their necks. So no matter how serious they are, your natural reaction is to try and save yourself. So imagine the state of mind you have to be in to be willing to do that thing. I don't want to, obviously, not glamorize, but it takes some fucking balls to be able to do that to yourself, to be able to just take that final plunge.
Well, I think that's what I mean about this. I don't really want to cast judgment, but I think it takes an amount of pain that I certainly haven't experienced.
Yeah, luckily, me neither.
Yeah, to actually say, you know what, I can't do it. I can't do this anymore. And look at his life. You know, this bloke was being touted as not touted as, he was considered the greatest living writer in America. And, you know, maybe it was the success that done it. Maybe, you know, because he always felt like a fraud. There's a great bit he wrote about going and seeing a psychotherapist, but he even plays he even sort of, you know, takes a piss out of the therapist and just says what he wants him to say. It's obviously more complicated than that. But maybe the mistake he made was achieving what he wanted to achieve, and realized that it doesn't change how you feel.
Yeah, what's left next?
Yeah. And
I'll tell you what I'm impressed by, Dange. Sorry to go off subject, sorry.
Go on.
Will Self. You're familiar with Will Self, aren't you?
I was just about to mention him because...
Oh, was you? Great minds.
Yeah. I was talking to him just the other week, and the first ever bit of writing I sent off was to High Times magazine. Hello, Ray. Good to see you, mate. I'll read that in a minute, Ray. I just with Toffee here, but I will read that. The first ever thing I sent off was to High Times magazine. It was an American magazine. I was a poor student, and I just wrote this little piece for them, sent it to them. First ever thing I'd sent off, and they sent me a contract back and a check for $50. Now, I've had a few successes since then, but nothing has really come close to that. And Will Self said pretty much the same thing. He said, you know, you think you're going to achieve things and they're going to somehow change the way you feel. You know, once I've achieved this, I'll be that, or, you know, I'll have proven that I'm this. But No, because they're external. You know, okay, so you've won an award for a film or won an award for a book or you've won the gold at the Olympics. But at the end of the day, the three people I just mentioned, the award winner, the Olympic medalist, at the end of the day, they're the same as you and me getting in the bath and getting the grit out of under our nails and having problems in our love life. And, you know, you're human. You're just a human still.
And Will Self, outside of like, say, Tolkien and Dickens and Enid Blyton, Will Self, contemporary wise, he's me favourite contemporary writer. I couldn't, not as eloquent, apart from you, obviously. I like his, and there's another writer that he's a big fan of, and his name escapes me. But there's another author. It is he does a lot of writing about the relation between architecture.
Oh yeah, it's his mate. They do all the psychogeography stuff, don't they?
Yeah, look him up if you can. He's a big fan of his, and he done a brilliant interview with him. Will Self is absolutely phenomenal, and a lot. To be honest with you, he's so good. A lot of his work goes a bit over my head. He's got a book called Walk into Hollywood, and it's one of the most obscure things I've ever read. Book of Davis, brilliant, but that Walk into Hollywood doesn't. It's bizarre stuff.
Have you read any of the latest three? You're talking about Ian Sinclair.
No, that's not him. It's his name's it's sort of
interestingly, the fella you're talking about, I do know you're talking about. It's the psychogeography, but the editor of my
he's
novel,
similar to he's a chronic chronic alcoholic, one of them, the same kind of thing as Will Self and Dare I Say Yourself. You know what
I mean. The editor of my book is the other one. There's three of them. It's Will, and it's the bloke you're talking about, and it's Nick Papadimitriou. Nick Papadimitriou published a book called Scarp, and he does the same. He walks around what they call easily overlooked urban spaces, and just writes about them. Oh, I'm annoyed that it's not Ian Sinclair.
as soon as you said the name, you'd instantly be like, "Yeah, I know who that is." It's initials. It's his first name's initials and his surname, so like H.G. Wells, but I can't think who it is. And it's on the tip of my tongue. And as soon as I said it, you'd know who it is.
It's not Ian Sinclair.
No, it's not. You'll know who it is. Have a look if you're on there now. Have a look. He's done an interview with him before. He turned up at his house, and he was a bit of an icon for Will Self. Brilliant writer, like. Okay, pretty much all of his writing was on, the relationship between urban architecture.
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you're talking about. They call it psychogeography, but they sort of don't like that word now. It's weird.
I'm big into it here in Liverpool. We've got, I don't know if you're familiar with Liverpool, the city itself. Obviously, you're familiar with Scousers.
I'm familiar with Bootle.
We've got, there's two cathedrals in the city. And one of them's, not that I'm religious, but one of them's very beautiful. And we've got another one that is just an eyesore. It's called Paddy's Wigwam, we call it. And it's
hang on. Why do you call it Paddy's Wigwam? Because my old man used to call a Catholic church in Dartford Paddy's Windmill.
Well, there's a bit of it's sort of like a Belfast situation with the Protestants, with the Loyalists and Catholics. But the wigwam part just comes from, it's shaped like a wigwam, like the old classic Indian wigwam.
I must have got it from there. How interesting.
There's a big Irish contingent, isn't there, Liverpool?
That's right.
I'll tell you who your best person to speak to about.
Yeah, I know you're talking about Martin Amis.
That's it, Amos.
There you go.
That's the guy. He was an oddball. He was very much an eccentric. He spent like the last 10 years of his life just sitting in his living room, refusing to talk to anyone. One of them types, drinking vodka all day. And he was a brilliant mind. And Will Self was particularly obsessed with him.
Have you read any of his latest three? Well, not including Will, which is going back to his junk days, but Telephone Umbrella, and Shark.
I've not, to be honest, no.
Check
I
out
thought it
Shark.
got a bit political, and I was like, I'm not listening to you anymore, Lefty, and I should do. My mind's opened a little bit more. Like,
you'll be surprised. Believe me, you'll be surprised.
He's brilliant, also.
Yeah, he's.
Did you hear? He's No, actually, I'm not going to mention that. He had a bit of an incident not long ago. Say about 5 years ago. There was an incident with him and his son, and he wrote about it quite a bit and appeared on telly about it. Someone pulled him over. Do you know what I mean?
He's. I think he's got 4 kids. He brought one of them to one of my gigs once. Nice lad, actually. I can't really discuss this because I know him, and I don't think that's fair for me to.
No, yeah, exactly. That's what I didn't want to say.
Yeah, but a great writer and an absolute privilege to be able to talk to him, and yeah,
comedic as well. Funny man.
Yeah, intense, but funny.
He's like 6'6", isn't he? Like an absolute unit of a fella.
Yeah. Absolute monster.
I tell you what I find funny, Dane. Sorry, saying that. Quite a few times you've gone, oh, I'm not that tall. I'm only like 6'2", 6'3". Like, what? You're not that tall. What planet do you come from?
I think I wasn't tall until I developed so late. I just got used to being small. So I still think I am,
I remember once, and I had to pause the video because I was in a stream. He went, I'm not that tall. I'm only 6'2". Like, what?
And I went for a pair of Cuban heels once, and that put me up. It's funny what you can do. Oh, steady. But
you're definitely the biggest man in Cambodia, like, surely.
I really am. It's quite handy in the markets, but there's no trouble out here, so it doesn't really matter how big you are. It's lovely like that, actually. I live in the capital city, and I've seen next to no trouble. And the only trouble I've really seen is drunk gangs of foreigners, and they soon get.
Oh, I can imagine.
Yeah.
Do you reckon your novel's going to be out by Christmas, Dane? Because I've asked my sister. You ask your ma and your sister ask what you want for Christmas, sort of thing. And I said, well, there's a streamer who I'm a big fan of. If you wouldn't mind me ordering the book. No pressure, like.
I will get it finished. I'll get the manuscript finished. But I'll be honest here. Me editor has just had a triple art bypass.
Yeah, you were saying.
I'm not sure how much up to the job he is. It's now 150,000 words. So there are some. I'm not blaming someone else. And here's another thing. I always thought get it out before Christmas because of the Christmas market, but my book isn't really a Christmas book. I don't think that's going to make much difference. Do I want
the anticipation of it is building up the hype, I must say. If you bring it out, you're gonna get, like, within a couple of days. Obviously, all the scrubs. Obviously, you're gonna get some serious sales on that.
I'm going to do pre-orders. I'm going to do a discount for pre-orders because that way, the day it goes live, you sell all those pre-orders on that day. That goes up the ranks. Then it goes up the ranks. Amazon then promote it more. And there's all sorts of shit you got to think about. But realistically, I'll have it finished in 2 weeks, maybe. That's where I am at the moment. But then the editor, then the designer, then the typesetting, then the cover, it starts getting a little bit contrived. But I said I'll finish it by November if I've got that manuscript ready to go. And when I next hand it to the editor, we've agreed that he takes an axe to it, and that's it. I don't even take it back off him and check it. I trust him. So
fantastic. Well, yeah, as I say, all the scrubs are looking forward to them. Oh, I have, yeah. Do you know what, mate? Sorry to swear. I deleted all my videos. All my dog videos were getting like 3,000 views, but then someone started trolling me, so I started seeing my ass a bit. I'm a bit sensitive. I'm not a big YouTuber. They were trolling me like, "Oh, you're being cruel to your dog," because I got staffy, so I was putting up videos of them like hanging off ropes and hanging off trees, which is what staffies do.
Yeah,
and people were like, "That's a bit cruel." So I see my ass a bit, so I just decided to delete them all, but I've started uploading again. Like, So if anyone wants to subscribe, please do so.
Well, I'm sure Rags. I think Steve's busy today. He sent me a message, but if Rags, I'm sure he can put the link in the chat.
Yeah. Well, me and 42 did a great stream a few weeks ago, and I've still got we've got the biggest views on his channel, which I'm quite proud of.
Great stuff. All right, Toffee.
Yeah, mate. Thank you. Honestly, I can't put into words. This is a bit of a big moment for me. I followed you. I was like your first 200 subscribers. This is a fucking big deal to me, lad.
Well, I don't
honestly
know a lot about you, so this has been lovely for me because I've obviously seen you in the chat for a while. So good stuff.
Hope my accent didn't fucking bring back too many bad memories.
It does. Honestly, it does. It really does.
Thank you so much, sir.
Listen, mate, thanks for coming on. Good luck with everything. Good luck with the channel. Yeah, maybe.
Thank you, sir. Have a good time in Thailand. Hoit!
Yep. Hoita! Take care, mate. What a lovely bloke. I'll be honest with you, though. The accent does sort of... Because do I know any Scousers who are like mates? Only the bloke that he sounds like. But I'll be honest with you, it does remind me of all that trouble. Nice bloke, though. 6 staffs on the firm. 6 or 7, I can't remember. I mean, one's enough. One is enough. Wow. Yeah, nice fella, man. It's lovely to see Ray Surrealist in the chat. He said something to me. Albert says Will Self is a pretentious left-wing crap. Well, pretentious doesn't mean anything, Albert. I mean, what do you mean by pretentious? What, one of the UK's most successful contemporary writers? You might be on your own with that one. I think you'll be surprised, on what? So one incident on Question Time, you're going to judge his entire character. I'd be careful doing that simply because people have done that with me. People have said, and I've said things 20 years ago that I wouldn't say today. I've said things 5 years ago that I wouldn't say today. Will has been really kind and helpful to me, and he knows he's got a rough idea of my politics, and we get on. I think you'll be very surprised on his views on multiculturalism. But it's fair enough. It's your opinion, and you're welcome to it. I didn't like Cat's Cradle. I'm a real fan of Vonnegut, but after he set the bar so high with he set the bar so high with Slaughterhouse 5, Sirens of Titan, Breakfast of Champions. The rest of them, and I've read them all, but the rest of them didn't. Breakfast of Champions, Sirens of Titan, and Slaughterhouse 5 are just incredible. What I like about a book is a book that I don't think I could have thought of. Now, that does make me come across a bit arrogant, but every creative person has to have an amount of arrogance. You have to think you're good, or why would you do it? It doesn't make sense, does it? But when I read Slaughterhouse 5, I just thought, how the hell do you think like this? The stark impossibility of looking at... That's his war book. That's his Dresden book. And yeah, so, I mean, if you're into Vonnegut and you haven't read any of those 3, or even if you haven't heard of him, read those 3 books. Incredible. What was it that Ray was saying? Dangerfield, I tried to send you a super chat, but I mentioned today's religious festival and it didn't go through. YouTube is obviously not bothered that me and my dog are very distressed by fireworks. Nice one, Ray. Ray, nice to see you, mate. I mean, I know you're not having a great time, but it's always a pleasure to see you. Wolfie says he's been close. That's not nice to know, Wolfie. John says it's not a cowardly act. No, I've changed my mind on that. If you've got kids and that, it's... Although I did read... I subscribe to this Substack where he sends out... He collects letters, famous letters and things, and, letters from well-known writers or whatever, historical figures. And there was this one mother who killed herself, and she actually thought that killing herself it was going to make her children's life better. And whether she's wrong or right about that, that throws a spanner in the works, doesn't it? But then when David Foster, you know, I was into his work when he was alive, and when I just thought, what the fuck are you doing? What? No. You know, there's that lovely bit in that documentary. It's not a documentary, but that movie about last days of the tour. Toffee, if you haven't watched that and you like David Foster Wallace, watch it. The last days of the tour. It's about a Rolling Stone journalist who spent the last few days of a book tour with David Foster Wallace. It's superbly scripted and acted. Lovely movie. And there's a bit in that where he says, you know, he wants everything that David Foster Wallace has got. And David Foster Wallace just wants to be a normal bloke. And he isn't. He says you don't write a 10,000 page book that everyone in America is talking about and be normal. You do it. That happens because you're exceptional. And David Foster Wallace says in the film, you know, I treasure my normal blokeness, or words to that effect. Vartation occurred at high power, high speed. Right, it looks like I've missed quite the super chats. There's loads of entropies coming. I'll deal with the super chats first, then we'll deal with the entropies, then we'll get someone else on. Here we go. Give us a couple of seconds, people. Hello, Rockhopper. Good to see you, mate. Did I say hello, Jew Keys to the Kingdom? Where are we? It's 4:15 in the morning. Ridiculous. I'll probably do about another 15-20 minutes, probably one or two more guests. I'll tell you what, I'll do all the super chats and that at the end so we can get someone else in. There you go. Good call, Rags. That's very kind of you. There you go, people. Rags has put Toffee's channel in the chat. Toffee seems like a good bloke. Yeah, I mean, there, a good lad. I kept talking over him at the end because he was trying to say nice things about me, and I'm not very good at that. I can talk about myself positively all the time, but when someone else does it, I'm like, easy, just slow down. Here, I'll pop the invite in, see if anyone wants to come in for a chat. Nice to see you, Jer. I can see that air and centre, but I'll do them at the end. I mean, I'm going to have to wrap this up. I've got a horrible feeling my missus is staying awake to talk to me, but the state she was in, I can't imagine it. It was quite funny. We went out for dinner earlier, a nice little restaurant by the river. Ozmeister's taken the risk. Look, how long, people, do you reckon it took Ozmeister to assume that posture? Look, he's tried to give it the look of a chaise lounge. What is that?
Reason. There's a reason.
Okay, is it to do with your Crohn's?
A little, yeah, sort of. I think I've got anemia.
You have got anemia?
I think I might, yeah.
I had that as a youngster. I had it.
Well, I had it for 5 years. I used to get it every year and used to go to the hospital and be on the drip and pump the iron in me.
That's it. I didn't have it that bad. I used to just get iron tablets and I'd shit like they were black as tarmac that used to come out of my backside.
Yeah, it's to do with the Crohn's, though. It's because when they took the part of my intestine out, the ileum, that's the bit that doesn't absorb all the vitamin B12 and the iron.
Ozmeister, what's it like living with this?
Well, good. It's all right now.
How long have you known that this is? When did they say? When did symptoms? I'm assuming symptoms showed themselves first.
Yeah, 2005.
Crohn's disease. And you, Toffee, it really was.
2005.
How old were you roughly?
21.
So at 21, what are the symptoms? 21, so you're just starting life.
Yeah, bleeding out the bottom.
Repeatedly.
Yeah, so obviously, I've never heard of Crohn's, so obviously you think, oh my God, I've got cancer or something.
Yeah, you go to the worst thing straight away with anything. I get an ingrown toenail and I reckon I've got leukemia. I'm fully with you on that. So you go to the doctors, they take some blood tests.
And then that went on for about a year. Then I had stomach cramps.
Hang on. You didn't go to the doctor for about a year?
Yeah, I probably left it. Yeah, left it for a while because it wasn't happening all the time. It was like once in a while, and then it got more constant.
I reckon a woman does that once and she's on the phone to the doctor before she pulled her knickers up, and blokes are just like, nah, be all right. Be all right. So you let that go on for about a year, and then other symptoms started showing.
What other symptoms did you say? I didn't hear that.
Well,
yeah.
For a year.
I started getting stomach cramps, and then I couldn't eat anything. That's when I realised I had to go to the doctors when I couldn't eat anything.
What, as in you had no appetite, or it just hurt too much?
No, I couldn't eat anything, and everything just tasted horrible, like a dry Jacob cracker.
Oh, you literally couldn't go through the process of consuming food?
No, I couldn't. Yeah.
And how long did you go through that? Did you think, oh, this will pass? Or
it was probably about 9 months.
Fuck again, now 2 years of your body not functioning correctly.
Yeah. Everyone was coming up to me saying, "Are you all right?" Because I look like a heroin addict.
Steady. What, handsome and lithe, just dirty and malnourished. So you finally got to the doctors and you said, "I've got this happening. I've got this happening." They took some tests.
Yeah. And then I had the colonoscopy and diagnosed it straight away.
And you were fucking gutted, I imagine.
Well, no, because when I got better from that, I was fine for 6 years.
What, they treated you?
Yeah, they gave me prednisolone steroids. I was fine for 6 years.
What, he just went?
Yeah.
And you assumed that was job done? Or did they say that it might come back?
Yeah, and then I went on holiday in 2011, and I came back with a perforated bowel, and I haven't been I haven't been the same. Then I was just ill every year till 2019 when I had the bag.
How long was that? How many years was that?
2011. So that was 8 years.
So you lived for 8 years with all that going on, and you just But you didn't seek more treatment. You just thought, I don't want to know.
Yeah. Again, they give me steroids, and I feel much better. And then I'll get ill a year later. Then I had the operation to move the ileum in 2013. And about 3 months after the operation, I got sick again. In hospital, had an ulcer from Crohn's. Yeah, it's been shit.
No, I know a couple of girls who've got it. I don't know them very well, but I've talked to them about it, and it's that's a lot for a young man to deal with. A hell of a lot. Well, where are you now with it mentally?
Yeah, good. There's a few problems. I am suffering something called a fistula.
Yeah, I know. Weirdly, I know what that is.
Do you?
Yeah.
I literally last year, they were in my groin as well, each side of my groin, not just on my backside. They were in my groin as well, and I couldn't walk. And the tears were, looked like someone slit a knife in my groin on each side of the groin. Yeah.
I've got a mate, and he's got, if you're eating people or if there's children around, ignore this, but he's got varicose veins in his ball sack, and I've never asked to see it, but he said to me, it looks like a bag of blue spaghetti. He's only 35. It's a weird thing, the body. I know, I can tell you this, there's people in the chat that have got things going on that make your toes curl that they've told me, in private. And, I think medicine is such a broad stroke, isn't it? But it's very rare to get through life without relatively serious complications, because you use your body, it gets used, and not much has to go wrong to start a chain of events. Not a lot has to go wrong. Listen to this. I had a mate And again, if you're eating or you're a bit squeamish, really mute this. He was having a wee, and these little black pellets were coming out, like little black ball bearings, like those lead weights, he told me, like you used to put on fishing when you're fishing line. And one day he's grabbed one out of the toilet and he's squeezed it, and it's real poo.
Yeah, I've heard
and
that.
he's gone. He was about 50. He was quite an older lad. He's gone to the doctors and they've done a few tests and that. And they said, have you ever been to, and they named these sort of few countries, like right out in the middle of nowhere. And he hadn't, right? And he was like, no. And then he got back to him because they couldn't work it out, all this. And then he got back to him and he said, actually, I have been to Bahrain. A flight got diverted in 1974, blah, blah, blah. And he got this virus or something. I'm not a doctor, obviously. He got this, something infected him. And it infected him between the two, the number 1 and the number 2 tube. But it was inert. It was an inert infection. But what the doctors reckon happened, because he was a bit of a drinker, and he was a guilty drinker, and I knew this because what he'd do, he'd drink like a couple of bottles of whiskey, binge drinking, but then the day after that, he'd go for an 8-mile bike ride to sort of, he thought he was balancing it out, whereas actually the 8-mile bike ride done him more damage because he was already dehydrated, and he dehydrated him. This is what the doctor said to him: what you've essentially done is created the necessary conditions for that infection or whatever it was to come back to life, and it's basically eaten away between those 2 tubes. And they had to operate in him, and he ended up with like a bag and that.
For life.
Yeah, that was when he was 50. Yeah, because the damage had been done. There was no way of sorting it out.
Yeah, I remember you talked about this before, and I said I puked out shit before.
Oh, you could have warned everyone. I do remember you telling me that. I mean,
I'll tell you when it was. It was when I was 11 years old.
Whoa. Is that a Crohn's thing?
No. This happened when I was 11 years old. And I was just about to go on stage to do a play with the school in front of all the parents and stuff.
So I'm just trying to work out how that would happen, because
I don't know, but it literally, I'm not sure if anyone's seen that South Park episode when they're crapping shit out of their mouths, but it was just like that, but it was only a little one. It was like a chipolata.
Hang on. Sorry, people, but this is kind of interesting. No, this is on Healthline. While it sounds unpleasant and unusual, it is possible to vomit your own fecal matter, known as fecal vomiting. Oh, creative. It is usually due to some kind of blockage. Fucking hell. I mean, that's nightmarish. And you, how old were you?
11, and I was really sick before. I just felt like I had a bug or something.
No shit. Oh my God. And did you think, I mean, maybe your age protected you from the reality of what had happened, maybe this is normal or something.
I felt better after.
Better out than in.
I mean, you were talking about whities with Packer earlier, because I got a funny story about that.
Go on then.
Well, it was my first whitey, and I didn't know what a whitey was, and obviously a whitey's, your blood pressure's just gone stupidly low, hasn't it?
I don't know what causes it.
It's low blood pressure, isn't it?
Honestly, don't know.
And I just remember just taking all my clothes off, getting my mobile phone ready to call the ambulance, and lying naked on the floor next to my fan for about 10 minutes. I took all my clothes off.
Oh dear.
Yeah, I thought I was going to die. And then I told my mate about it, who's been smoking it since he was born. And he said, "Oh, you had a whitey." I'm like, "Oh, right, okay."
You just went over. I think with weed though, I think it's almost like your brain. Were you scared?
Yeah,
Did you?
terrified. I thought I had I was going to ring their ambulance.
But that's what I'm thinking. So I think with a weed whitey, it's a bit different to a booze one, or or with any blackout. The weed
Never had
one,
a booze one.
I think it's you're scared. It's reality is a bit imposing, so your brain just says there's a way out of this. Let's just shut down.
John says, being a lightweight causes it.
I don't really want to ask this. I imagine, yes.
I don't remember. I don't remember it that well. I just remember doing it.
Yeah, but Billy, that's not necessarily the case, mate. I mean, because I know people who've thrown whiteys from eating hashish, and there's no nicotine involved there. Mousecat says whitey supremacists. John, I think sometimes it is. Yeah, I think I've never seen anyone enjoying a cannabis buzz and then have a whitey. It's always the people who are going, "Oh, hang on, I don't know about this. Oh, what's happening?" And then
that's why I quit, because I was getting like that.
Right. Okay. There you go. Look at that. I you know what, Rollo? That's why I quite like having these conversations. I think, I always say it, don't I? Gratitude is a really important thing in life, because life is fucking hard,
I think people who get paranoid on weed are smoking shit weed, basically.
I don't think so. I think people who get paranoid on weed are smoking the good stuff because it's too fucking strong. And people didn't used to have so many whiteys in the 80s. It's now like ridiculously strong. You can have a couple of tokes, and think, fucking hell, oh my God, I owe loads of money. Oh, what's happening? I got stoned the other week and I started thinking, why am I living in Cambodia? How did I end up here? And I don't like thinking like that. I thought, hang on, this ain't nice. I don't want to be, that doesn't require questioning. That's just stupid. Dennis reckons it's a panic attack as well. I think you're probably one of thousands, Willow, if not hundreds of thousands. But most good coffee shops will serve you a high sugar hot chocolate or something to take the edge off.
There's an interesting video on YouTube about this American boy who's got Crohn's disease, and he was so bad he was in a wheelchair, and they couldn't afford the medical insurance and stuff. So he tried cannabis in a pill, THC, and it's killed him.
Yeah, I mean, I am convinced that cannabis and opium are both wonder drugs, and I really mean that. And they've, Big Pharma's got nothing to gain from two drugs that could probably cure, if not cure the ills, can certainly do a lot for the symptoms. And they don't want that. They want people taking things on the regs, that they can charge a fortune for, not that you can grow in your garden.
Well, the whole pharmaceutical thing is a con, isn't it? I think they just want
to. Have you seen that Katy Perry thing that's going around here? I'll show you. It's very good. Where is it? Let me drag it out here. Oh. There's a funny comment. Whoever nicked it off of TikTok said, Katy Perry bot malfunction. Care of that Pfizer look, which is a bit weird grammar, but have a look at this. It'll make you laugh. Hopefully it'll be big enough. That's the only problem with TikTok. They're all a bit small, but look at her right eye. Can you see that? Everyone?
Yes, I've seen this. I didn't know that was Katy Perry, but I have seen it, yeah.
I'll turn the volume down because it's irrelevant, but yeah, I'll check out what happens to her eye.
The same thing happened to Justin Bieber, didn't it?
He's had like a full face. Look, she has to keep pulling her eye away. Look, hang on. Come on, Kate, your eye shut. There you go. Press the button. She's a simulation. Just have a look at that again. It's not open, love. Fucking hell. I think Bieber's had like the full. Let's see if we can find a recent picture. I think his face has collapsed. I mean, he's a crackhead, isn't he? Surely he got caught driving his motor up down the motorway, cracked out of his nut. I feel sorry for these celebrities like this. So I know that sounds weird, but what kind of? Oh, you're right. It's exactly the same as that.
Yeah, it is.
Justin Bieber reveals why half his face is paralyzed. Well, hang on a minute. Before I show you it, Justin Bieber tells you why he thinks is. I wonder if it is.
It's not a reliable source, is it?
Yeah, exactly. Don't say anything about this because, let's have a look at this. I haven't seen this. I've seen his face, obviously, but let's see what his explanation is. What is this weird thing about all the... Why have they broken it up into 3? It makes absolutely no sense. They give you more information, but you can see less. Let's see what he says. Let me know you've got audio, please, someone.
As you can see, this eye is not blinking. I can't smile on this side of my face. This nostril will not move. So there's full paralysis in this side of my face.
Justin Bieber gives a serious health update, revealing to his fans that he has temporary face paralysis, causing him to cancel upcoming shows.
Obviously, as you can probably see from my face, I have this syndrome called Ramsay Hunt syndrome. And it is from this virus that attacks the nerve in my ear, my facial nerves, and has caused my face to have paralysis.
The pop star has been on the road for his Justice tour hours before what...
Yeah, I mean, in fairness, maybe he goes on to explain why and where it come from. We don't know. I can't.
He's definitely on something, isn't
he? It did have a touch of the Bell's palsy about it, which has been linked with a certain treatment. Rollo says looks like a young Biden. No, his face is functioning better, Rollo. Anything else you want to leave us with apart from
one more thing. Do you still want to do that IMDb top 250? We go through all the films and discuss it, if they should be in there or not.
What? Me and you were going to do that?
I'd love to do it with you, but it's up to you.
When I suggested me and you go through the top 250 films,
we did. You did. I mentioned it once, and not on a super chat, and you said that was a good idea.
I think it probably would be a good idea, but
if I wasn't there.
No, you there, and everyone, because otherwise that's me and you talking about what movies we like and what we don't like, and everyone in the chat just missing out. Whereas if we all do it, everyone's involved, so we can vote on the I didn't even know IMDb had a top 100. I didn't know.
Yeah, they got a top 250. Yeah,
that would take too long. All right, I'll tell you what. We'll do the top 100. We'll get everyone involved. You can come on like this, but we'll get people to vote. Or something.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, no problem. Any? Has that bird got in the back of your car again?
No. But you probably thought when she asked me to go for a coffee, you probably thought in a house, didn't you? But no, she meant in the cafe.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. She asked you for a coffee. Women don't.
I'm going to talk to her. She's working.
What are you missing here? She's made a positive move to spend time with you. She wants your attention. That's game on. If you can't see that, I don't know where you're looking. Thanks for coming on, Ozmeister. Always a pleasure, mate. Thanks for hanging around and not going to see the Aston Villa podcast. Ta-da, mate.
See you later. Bye now.
What an interesting bloke. I mean, I was a very sickly child, but I've been, especially when you consider the damage, not the damage, but the things I've done to my body as a older man, like 20s, 30s, 40s. I've kind of got off lightly. Maybe it's all waiting for me, but even if I've got something small wrong with me, it just wrecks my life. I'm just like pissed off. And when, I know that there's plenty of people in the chat going through some very, very serious health issues. And it's very easy for me to say, oh, you need acceptance, you need gratitude. But I crumble quite quickly when the pressure's on. And so, got to get that into perspective. Right. Let's deal with these entropies, because there's plenty in there. I'm going to move that over there. I'm going to do it like this. Right, hang on. Give us a couple of seconds, people. Right, I've got that one done. Oh, don't forget, people, as soon as this is finished, I'll put my new Dragon's Den reaction up. It's about 35 minutes long. I responded to the suggestions of length. It's a good one as well. Wait, listen, I know it's the old, wait till the end. Well, because there's some nice dancers at the end, but there's a real twist in the tale of the next. It'll go live after this video. There's a real bollocks! I've just closed entropy. Oh no, don't tell me they've all disappeared. I'm gonna people are gonna be very angry. Oh no, they're still there. They're still there. You're all right. Thank fuck for that. And I think there's a couple of super chats I need to deal with as well. Right, hang on. Let's move that over there. Right. Good Lord, Bill and Lindsay. That's very kind of you both. Right, I've got that. Yeah, there's a real twist at the end of the latest Dragon's Den video that I didn't even know was coming. It caught me out. You'll see me on the video go, anyway, thanks a lot, ta-da! And then I go, hang on a minute, look what I just saw. Right, done that one with Lindsay. So I think these are all the latest entropies. Right, here we go. Thank you very much, everyone who's donated. Let's have a look at these. Lindsay says, I just purchased another 10 spot from Lindsay. Thank you, Lindsay. I've just purchased a second-hand copy of R.D. Lang's Conversations. Is it Conversations with Children? Is that the one? Oh, it's amazing. Is that the same one for my mum? Did you know it's out of print? I've only ever bought second-hand copies for people, but that and A Lover's Discourse are my biggest go-to gifts. I've even given Conversations with Children twice to the same person once, which is very embarrassing. Oh, thanks, Chris. You gave me the same book last year. She's a fellow Scot, you see. P.S. I'm also going to share your video on jouissance with her. She'll be a fully-fledged member of the Scrubs community before long. I wish I could get my mother involved. I've tried to get her to come on, but Big Mummy Danger ain't having none of it. The only time she's ever been on was when she got on her hands and knees when I was streaming from her house once. She got on her hands and knees to go behind me. That sounded awful. Nice one, Lindsay. Lindsay says, Chris, can we have Mumsy's Wankenstein as an outro tonight? Here it is. It depends if it's copywritten, Lindsay. Why do I keep closing entropy? What's going on here? If it's copywritten, I can't. Simply because the ones we've done recently where I had loads of clips, if they block it in all areas, it's fucked. Let me have a look. Hang on. I also don't know it, Lindsay, which is a bit tricky. Because if I don't like it, that's a bit weird. That does just make me a whore. Oh, from Mumford. Oh, I forgot. When you said Mumsy, it's Bally G. Of course we can have that. Of course. Of course. Yeah. Great stuff. He'll be over the moon. You've asked for that. Oh, God. Am I going to get age restricted, though? Fuck it. That's all right. There's no one here under 16, is there, apart from Dennis and Bill? That's if you add them both together. Nice one, Lindsay. Yes, we can have that. Bill drops another tenner. Thank you, Bill. Much appreciated, Kanuki. Speaking of diplomatic immunity, where is the punishment for this property destruction, theft, kidnapping, and assault? You know what I'm like with links, Bill. Let's have a look and see what he's going to get me in trouble for. Okay, let's have a look at this. Oh, that's why I keep closing. What the hell is going on? I don't know how to do this, people. I don't know how to do a stream. The China Consul General. It was my duty to pull protesters' hair. The Consul General in China in Manchester, Zheng Yuan, said it was his duty to pull a Hong Kong protester's hair during an absolutely unacceptable attack on the Chinese consulate in Manchester. So Billy is asking for some accountability, it would appear. Let's have a look. I'm going to have to do it like this so we get the audio. I'm going to just put a warning out because I haven't seen this. It might be graphic. I don't want to get another strike. If it gets really graphic, Bill, I'll have to stop it because that's what I got a strike for last time. Gratuitous violence of all things.
What happened outside and on the grounds of the Chinese consulate in Manchester is now the centre of a diplomatic incident. A pro-democracy protest by Hong Kongers started off peacefully, but banners and posters, which the Chinese say they found deeply offensive, were torn down by officials, including the Consul General. That led to a violent clash, which saw a protester apparently dragged into the consulate grounds and beaten by its staff, leaving him with cuts and bruises on his body. But they are claims refuted by the...
I mean, can you see that? They dragged him in. That's now, I suppose that's like an embassy, is it? Once you're in there, you're on Chinese soil. So it's now Chinese law. I mean, I saw a couple of seconds of that. They were just kicking the shit out of him. And the Chinese are refuting that. Let's see what the Chinese have got to say about that. I mean, well, no, I won't say that. I'm too local.
Us inside to share his version of events. Mr. Zheng is one of China's most senior diplomats in the UK, and so this picture showing him pulling the protester's hair and dragging him into the consulate was deeply troubling.
You know, there was a picture of you pulling the protester's hair and dragging him into the consulate general, into the consulate grounds. Do you think that's acceptable behavior of a very senior diplomat in the UK?
I think it's an emergency situation. That guy threatened my colleague's life. And that day, we try to control the situation.
In a letter sent to Greater Manchester Police, the Consul General said he was disappointed that they didn't do more to help, and so his staff had to take action into their own hands.
I don't attack anybody. I'm the peacefully.
That's not true, though, is it, Consul General? You pulled the man's hair.
Yeah, the man is because he's abused my country, my leader. I think.
And there you go. And there you go. That's a cultural difference. Let me tell you something. I was showing my girlfriend some. We watched a film the other night. I can't even remember what it was because we have to get stuff that has got like English subtitles and Khmer dubbed. We don't have to actually. Sometimes we watch a lot of Indian films because there's no dialogue and it's just massive battles, which she seems to like. But we were watching this movie and there was this bit where this woman turned around and she had her tits out. And my missus, don't forget she's got a background as a working girl. She was like, ah! And I just went, what? Boobs. And she said that in Cambodia, you can't show anything like that in any film. You'll be arrested. You'll be arrested if you show boobs. If you're a Cambodian film company and you put boobs, you'll be arrested. Because there's a thing in Asia that's called face, saving face essentially, and it's very big in Thailand as well. very big in Cambodia and very, very big in China. And that's come from English friends I've got who live in China. And you are that you are not allowed to talk badly of the CCCP. You're not allowed to. It's illegal. In Thailand, they have lèse-majesté. Lèse-majesté, I don't know how you pronounce it. But it's illegal. And just, I think I showed it on this channel, just this year, a woman got sentenced to something like 30 years for criticising the royal family. No, you're not allowed to. That's their laws. And so, you know, I'm not defending anyone's actions, but I understand why that Chinese diplomat sees it like that. He considered that. I you know, I have to be very careful because of where I'm living. So there you go. Right, where are we now? Hang on 1 second, people. It's nearly 5 in the morning. Good grief. Our temptation has occurred. Give us a second. There's a couple more from Lindsay. Cheers, Bill. That was actually very interesting. Not that that should be surprising, but I'm not usually a clips person. Lindsay said, ensure you read my previous 2 messages, R-E-R-D, Lang and Wankenstein. I did. Please outro to Wankenstein tonight. I will. Big love for Brother Packer. He really is quite wonderful, as are all the scrubs. Love all around. There you go, Lindsay. I didn't miss them. Lindsay drops another lady. 1, Toffee was great. 2, thank you for David Foster Wallace. 3, have a fantastic time in Thailand. Take good care of Mumsy. This makes it 50 quid. Thank you, Lindsay. That's very kind. It will be spent unwisely, and I'm sure you'll appreciate that. Have a lovely holiday, Chris. Love you so much. Ensure you read all my messages. I have, haven't I? Think I have. Let me know. I certainly think I have. And thank you for your kindness, and you, Bill. That's much appreciated. I might even be able to get. I can't say Mumsy. I just can't. Bally G. I might even be able to get him to stream with me after we've both had a few drinks. Some of the stories he was telling me the other day. You know, you've heard him on this channel telling his stories. Now imagine the stuff. If he tells, he'll tell you. He'll go public with that. Can you imagine the stuff that he tells his best mate? I mean, honestly, I was in bits. So funny. Do you remember when he said he took that ladyboy back to that brothel and he said, I felt vulnerable. Vulnerable. Here's your 50 quid. Thanks for the vulnerability. Hello, Patch. Good to see you, son. Right, let me just make sure Artation. Let me just deal with these. Oh, people, I can't believe 2 days I'm off to sunny Thailand. Good Lord. It has been flooded there, so I hope it doesn't start again. Right, there's Jez. Let me just go back a bit. And I think that is it. All right. God, you look like to talk. And it's amazing. How amazing that we do this and we keep coming back and chatter Kimbo. Right, so let's get down to Jez. If I've missed anyone, let me know. I'm still got something to do. Jer, thanks for that 10 spot. Here's a few pints for you, and I hope the missus. No, no, she's had her share tonight. But nice one, Jer. Appreciate it. Nice to have you back, mate. I hope the arm is all good. And I've been wearing this on my heart because I've done my arm up lifting weights, trying to be buff for Thailand. What a child. Nice one, Jer. Fill us in on your arm. I'm not receiving emails at the moment because part of my holiday, if I go to my emails, I start working. You know, not talking to you people, but, you know, my work emails tend to go there as well. People, if they don't get an answer for my normal email, work, they go there, and it's a bit cheeky. Because years ago, I used my main email for work. I didn't have a business email account. I mean, come on, I've ignored you for long enough. Don't try another email account. Ridiculous. I've had a geezer who wants to do my SEO, like what, a 20-year-old e-commerce company. You don't think I've got an SEO company? He's offered me $100 just to talk to him, as if I'm not doing that. I'm gonna just do it and go, yeah, Yeah. I'll do an hour for $100. I'll do 2 hours for $100. Just go, yeah, all right. And then when he finishes, I go, is that it? Is that it now? Is that it? Right, how do I get my money? If he thinks he's going to turn me, he's got another thing coming. I'm going to tie an elastic band around my finger so my finger goes purple. So just to remind me that do not break, get the money. That's amazing, isn't it? First one, hey, do you want to do this? And I made the mistake of opening the email, which he knows about because I know this from email marketing. So the next one was, I saw you opened my email. Then another one, then another one, then another. Fucking hell. Then it was like, I'll give you $100. I thought, lovely, just $100 for listening to some sales. Nice one, Matt. I hope the ex's new boyfriend isn't Steven Seagal. Fuck you. Oh, sorry, the ex's. Mumford's already seen him. I said, is he a big bloke? He went, nah. But Matt, I mentioned it. Yes, I thought you meant my current missus. That's why I give you the finger. I was talking about it the other day because she's now got a bar that her and him working. And I was thinking, I'm just going to rock up there and order a drink. Now, he will handle that badly. What he should do, as I said yesterday, I think, what he should do is just go, oh, yeah, she's told me a bit about you. She used to know you or something. And then I'll be like, yeah, thanks for the drink. But if he gets a bit shitty, I'll be like, oh, look at the power. Look at the power. So when I stream and I've got like a broken nose, you'll know what's happened. Cheers, Matt. Appreciate it, mate. Hope you're well. Right. Don't forget, if you're new here, or even if you're not new and you haven't got onto my Substack, get on it. You'll love it. I'm sure I've missed a super chat because I'm sure. Right, Don Allen's one. Lindsay, Bill, Lindsay, Jer, Matt. Oh, Bill, another 10 spot. Mr. MF, 5 spot. My lurking fee. Thank you, Mr. MF. And Bill says, please, no lady boys. I'll think less of you. Not there is anything right with that. Boom. There you go. One of me, one of you, one of Devon's. People, it's been an absolute pleasure. This is something that you might not have heard before. Oh, fuck me. Snoopy, that's very, very, yeah. Treble vartation just occurred. Snoopy, it's 5 o'clock in the morning. I can't do it now. Please don't. It will be 6 o'clock before I get to bed, and I've got loads of stuff to do today. I can't. And if you think that's not on, let me know, and I think I can get that back to you. But honestly, I can't. I was Sharsted when I started this. I'm hoping that laughing is accepting that I just can't. I might end up with a migraine, and if I get a migraine, I won't be able to sort out my holiday today. And if I can't sort out my holiday today, I don't go tomorrow. Thank you, Snoopy, and likewise, that's a very generous donation, as are they all. But yeah, I will stream. I'll do a long stream tomorrow. How about that? I've got to spend half the day with my missus. I will do a dedicated Snoopy stream at some point, but I can't go to bed at 6 in the morning. It starts getting light, and I feel like the old crack days. It's awful. But nice one, Snoopy. That literally 3 minutes after I said I'll do 2 hours for $100. Yeah, then caught wangled. That's not the word. See, look, I can't even talk. Wangled. What's the word I mean? Oh, fuck it. Nice one, Ray. Love you, Chris and Scrubs. No Globo. No Globos. Excellent work. Life is a roller coaster. You just got to ride it. Cool, Ray. Nice one, mate. Nice to see you as well. Wangled? I haven't got a clue what I'm talking about. Where are we? I'm getting a bit lost here now. Oh, what's happening here? Why have I got that open? Picard! I listened to a Kirby rep for 2 hours. My old man got him to do all our beds. He just said, shall I sit on this one? Shall I sit on this one? Because they take all the dry skin out of the beds. And then he was just like, no, I don't want it. Go on. I listened to a Kirby rep for 2 hours. There you go. Same trick. Just to get my carpets clean. There you go. My dad done exactly, but with the beds, because he was going, well, that's amazing. Does it work on sprung beds? Because the kids have got sprung. Show me. Oh, yeah. Keep going. Go on, fuck off. You only need it done once every 10 years. Just so I can get my carpets clean. Cheers, Chris. See you all later. And the scrubs. Thanks for the love. Back at you all. Yeah, you're part of the furniture. Not Ozmeister's chaise lounge, though, that's for sure. I can't even think what the word is that I've been. Billy says, you overdid the weights. I only slagged you to motivate you to do a bit of exercise to get in shape, not to wreck yourself. The power of negging. I don't think I started lifting weights because of you, Bill. You can, if you want to think you've got that much power over my life, then you go with it. But I started lifting weights because I wanted to look better than I did, and I do. I was also losing strength. I couldn't do certain yoga postures, and that was very upsetting. Nice one, Jer. Have a great holiday with your missus. She's not coming. She's not coming. Don't forget your super tanks. No, but the thing is, I've got to break them all up. You're not meant to take vapes. You're not meant to have vapes in Cambodia, but you're not meant to have them in Thailand. I can buy them in Patong, though. So if they do nick it from my bags, I should be all right. But I should be all right. Cheers, Jer. Much appreciated, mate. I will have it. Evil Dog says, stay away from the embassy. I haven't got enough air for them to pull. Right, here we go, people. This is Bally G, as requested by Lindsay Spiritualized. I want to thank everyone who donated, including Snoopy, who didn't get his money's worth, but will do. But really, that things are so dry at the moment and going bad in so many areas. It really means a lot. And I know everyone's skin, and I know that the donations have been far more over the last week than they have been in a long time. And I know that that's you being really kind and helping me out with the holiday. And if it wasn't for 42 and Mr. and Mrs. Me in it, I wouldn't even be going. I mean, that's the reality of this place. How kind is that? I mean, I won't go through the story again, but in short, they offered 42 some money because he saved them from getting conned for about 20 grand. They offered him some money and he refused to take it and said, give it to Chris. Because I brought them together as friends, and I did accept it. I said, okay then. So yeah, I owe you all a lot. I will stream from Thailand for sure. We'll have some good laughs. I've just got to try and work out how to not let the missus see it, because there might be people in the background. Stop. Here we go. Thank you to everyone who donated. Thank you to Rags and Steve for looking after the place. And thank you to all you lot for keep coming back here. I'm now going to upload the Dragon's Den new reaction. And trust me, the twist in the tail, you will not, well, you might guess it, but it caught me completely off guard. This is Bally G and Wankingstein. If this is an age restriction, if you're under 18, probably don't listen to this. Or if you're of a, if you're a bit of a prude, it's quite the song. Trust me, I haven't heard this for years, but here we go. This is a risk and a half. Ta-ta!
I'm a bitter man, that's plain to see, and I'm addicted to pornography. Here in this awful place, I hide away and thrash my wretched penis every day. I am Wankenstein. I'm so ugly, no one fucks me, so I'll wank until I die. The world is rubbish and I feel like shit, and death gets closer every day. When something's rotten we dispose of it, so I'm tossing my life away. I hope for happiness but it's too late, my soul's in terminal decay. We bin things when we know they're out of date, so I'm tossing my life away. I curse my mother every time I blink, and wish my father had been gay. When milk goes off we chuck it down the sink, so I'm tossing my life away. Yes, I go wankety wank, 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 wank.
Well, there you go. I'll tell him that you asked for that, Lindsay. It'll make his day. People, I go on holiday on Wednesday, so I will find time to stream tomorrow. I can't play Milk. I can't race. I've got to go to bed, mate. It's gone 5 o'clock in the morning. I've really got to go. Take care, people. I'll see you tomorrow. Hoi! Ta!